creatures of the night. It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Forbidden Door 2024. First things first, I have to say thank you, Tony Khan, for bringing all this together. Having 4 promotions all on one show was a really, really great idea. However, this show was not better than last year's. And also, there's 2 big reasons why I feel like this wasn't as great as it could have been. One of those reasons is that there's a disconnect between what's going on in AEW and elsewhere with the other promotions. I don't think the company did a well enough job this time around to truly get everybody invested in not only what's happening in AEW, but what's happening outside of AEW when you have 3 other promotions getting involved here. We have Stardom, we have CMLL, and we also had New Japan. And it's apparent that a lot of people are not watching those shows. And I know they do this cross-promotional thing in hopes that people who watch AEW will also watch these other promotions as well. And I don't think it's happening the way they probably would like for it to happen. And another reason why this pay-per-view was not as great as it could have been was the order of the matches. Like, a pay-per-view is really important how they, have these matches in order. We already have 15 matches. Tony Khan actually added another pre-show matches. This right here, it's another reason why the fans probably will kind of be feeling a little bit tired. 15 matches to sit through within 6 hours? I don't know. The crowd retention wasn't there all night. And like I said, the show, not bad, but there's just a lot going on. They added Kyle Fletcher versus Serpentico. These people got nothing going on with each other. I don't even know what was the point of them adding that on. The other matches were okay, pretty good for the pre-show. And man, I don't know. I think what's important to mention from the pre-show is that we do have Mariah May that's advancing in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. So she's going to be facing somebody, Hikaru Shida, to advance onto the finals. Now, let's talk about the main card. Our first match of the night was MJF versus Heishi Seto. I did not see this coming. I was kind of hoping that the ladder match would be first because they would have brought that energy that I think the pay-per-view would have needed to start it off with an opening match. However, we started off with MJF versus Heishi Seto. This match felt so fucking rushed. I could not believe it. And it's just like, man, I think we could have gotten something so much better out of the 2 of them. MJF kept holding his arm, majority of the match. Something about this where I was like, it's hard to enjoy because it seemed to be so quick. Why? Because we got 10 other matches after we already just sat through 5 matches. And they just did it so quickly that it was hard to enjoy. MJF ends up taking the win. And when he takes the win, it almost feels like we're going to get a little bit more from the match. And it's almost as if somebody from the back just said, let's just wrap this up. We're over it. And honestly, it's hard to get into. Not a great match to start the show off with. After this, we do have the Elite, the Young Bucks, Okada, versus the Acclaimed and Tanahashi. This was not that great either. Max Caster finally got a moment to tell his little rap, and he was, not necessarily, he didn't have a great flow for the rap, but who cares? This was hard to get behind. Tanahashi, boo, we love you. You a legend. But you just don't move the way you used to. And it's hard not to cringe sometimes when the ace is in the ring. And really, I didn't feel like he really needs to be in this. Instead of the Elite putting their titles on the line, the Continental title, and also the tag titles, they just do this foolishness trios match. And honestly, it wasn't that great. The Elite ends up winning. It was very interesting to see how, despite Okada being part of the Elite group, everybody cheering for Okada. We still love you, despite you being wrapped up with these idiots. And, I appreciate that. It was really great to hear all the love that Okada was getting in New York. I actually like that. Now, after this, we did have Bryan Danielson versus Takagi. One of the best matches on the night, even though I felt like it was a little bit tough to watch because Brian seems to not be 100%. This bitch is probably not even like at 60%. He's holding his neck the whole match. His neck is all taped up all the way down to like to the middle of his back. I feel like Brian is trying to do his best in terms of giving us, you know, that full-time wrestler feel before he hangs it up, at least on a full-time basis. And unfortunately, he's probably doing too much to his body, too much that his body can't truly handle. And Takagi, he was not being gentle with Brian at all, but he was literally whooping Brian's ass for a good amount of this match. However, it's Brian's resilience that people really, really love. He's an amazing wrestler, but despite how hard things get for him with his opponents, he always make it through and give a great performance. But it was really tough just to see him seeming to be struggling to last throughout this match. You know, kudos to Brian to finish this whole thing. We even had the referee and the doctors checking up on him. The doctor is saying to Brian, don't continue this match. And Brian is just like, I'm going to continue. And he gets back on in there. And like I said, that part was a little tough because it just seems like he's in pain throughout the match. But he finishes anyway. It was great. I did enjoy it, but I know it could have been better if Brian was at least at like 80% to me. After this, we had Timeless Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. Would you believe me when I say that Mina fucking dominated majority of this match? Matter of fact, people were cheering more for Mina. I feel like, in terms of, okay, so if you don't watch Stardom and you don't see too much of Mina, you're probably not too familiar with her in the ring. She's been really in the storyline with Tony and Mariah, so I don't think we've got a chance to truly see her too much in the ring in AEW, but holy shit, she's fucking over. And I'll tell you the reason why she's so over. Personality. She got an A+ personality, a personality that a lot of the women in AEW do not have. Something really refreshing for people to see from Mina. And a lot of people, they've been saying it for a while that they would love to see Mina to be signed with AEW. I don't think that would be the case. She is a champion over in Stardom. That's not happening anytime soon, but they are absolutely enjoying her. And throughout this match, I'm just like, damn, Mina is whooping Toni Storm's ass. Oh, and by the way, Toni Storm comes out dressed up as the Statue of Liberty. It was so cute. I liked it. I really did like it. Now, I'll put it this way. Mariah May, she is like trying not to choose between any of the two girls. She ends up giving them both flowers before the start of the match. And then, you know, like I said, Mina was really, really whooping Toni Storm's ass. And I think, damn, the champion just didn't look strong here. And I think that this was obviously done on purpose. They want to have Mina look strong, probably making it seem like she had a really big chance of winning this match. But that wasn't the case. Toni Storm ends up taking the win. And, you know, she did a Storm Zero, right? For the win. And it just kind of felt a little lackluster for the win because Mina was dominating majority of the match. And then her finish, Toni Storm's finisher just didn't look like something that could put her away after being dominated majority of the match. So for me, I would have gone with something else to put Mina away. But after the match, Mariah comes in, gets the girls together in the ring. They end up shaking hands. Then she asks them to hug. They don't want to hug, but then they end up hugging. And then Mariah have a 3-way kiss with the girls. And Nigel McGuinness losing his shit over this whole thing. He even gave a standing ovation and he's crying about the girls' performance. I'm just like, Nigel, you're doing the absolute most. I love it. This was a strong match, but like I said, I think people will be put off by Toni Storm being dominated by Mina. Now, on to another one of the best matches of the night, Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. I have said this time and time again that pro wrestling can be a sexual experience, and Zack Sabre Jr. gave me exactly what I wanted tonight. Oh my God. And I'm going to say this, Orange Cassidy, it seemed like he was going to win so many times. Like, Zack is such a technical wrestler. It really forced Orange Cassidy to be more on the technical side here. And to see that Orange Cassidy, knowing what he's going against, he's giving a lot of submissions as well. I just saw a little bit of a different side compared to what we normally see with Orange Cassidy. And Zack Sabre Jr. I had to get the picture for y'all so y'all can see. I don't even know the name of this finisher, but when I tell you that he locked up Orange Cassidy every which way, that Orange Cassidy had no choice but to say, I quit. Like, oh my God, it was so beautiful. It was just so beautiful. Zack Sabre Jr., oh my God, I want to take you home. I want to take you home. Put me in one of them submission moves. I don't have a problem with it. I would love that. This was actually great, as much as I can't stand Orange. He does great in the ring, and it's really interesting how after Orange loses, he just looks dumbfounded. He just looked like, I just lost this match. I don't have no friends. I don't have nothing in my life. Basically, he's looking like he needs to like reevaluate his whole life. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Orange Cassidy's backed up in a corner right now. What do you do with him at this point? I have no clue. After this, we do have a very unnecessary match, if you ask me. The Learning Tree with Big Bill and Jeff Cobb versus Samoa Joe and Hook and Shibata. This could have been on Dynamite. Why was this on the show? No clue. It was okay. Brian Keith came out and he was a distraction. He did get physical, not necessarily wrestling or whatever, but, you know, he will grab on a leg or something like that. Nothing too much for him. So we knew that was going to happen. Jeff Cobb and Samoa Joe, I need them one-on-one. This little teaser that we had here in the match, not enough. I need these guys one-on-one. It was refreshing to actually see Samoa Joe kind of being handled the way he was with someone like Jeff Cobb. There's not a lot of people in AEW that, well, I don't want to say there isn't enough. There is like almost nobody over there that can handle Samoa Joe like that. So it was refreshing to see, you know, Jeff Cobb doing his thing with Samoa Joe. Hook had a new look. He had, you know, some black shorts with black boots, which I've never seen him do before. So it was different. Something about it. I don't care too much about him being part of this group with Shibata and Samoa Joe. It's something for them to do. Hook ends up taking the win for his team, doing one of Chris Jericho moves. Which one was it? Judas Effect. Yeah, there we go. He ends up taking the win with the Judas Effect. It even got Taz standing up on his feet, clapping and crying for his son. I was like, Taz, sit your ass down. This is nothing. This is nothing at all. This actually could have been on even fucking Rampage. Like, not main event worthy. Like I said, Jeff Cobb, Samoa Joe, let's run that back. One-on-one. I would love to see it. Now, on to another really great match that I do recommend sitting through. The ladder match for the TNT Championship. We had Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Dante, El Phantasmo, Lio Rush, and Jackson Perry. Oh my God. This was great. And I have to say, all biasness aside, real talk, if y'all watch that match, Takeshita was the fucking MVP of this match. He was holding it down. He was running things up in there. And I loved it. Lio Rush was really great as well. Kudos to Leo and El Phantasmo, not being AEW guys, kind of being thrown into the situation, but also still giving a really great performance. Man, this was so good. Dante Martin at some point ends up hurting his leg and he's limping for the rest of the match. And I'm just like, oh my God, this little curse of you doing ladder matches, baby. Don't do the next one. I don't know what that was about, but he didn't seem... I think like halfway through the match is when he's limping and you can see that he's in pain. I hope he's okay. I haven't seen any updates or anything about Dante. But this match, when I tell you Takeshita was owning bitches, Mark Briscoe was doing pretty well as well. This is definitely his element, being the type of match like this. They had, you know, tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my. And I absolutely did really enjoy this match. I would have preferred to open the show or something towards the beginning of the show because it was kind of lackluster starting off of the pay-per-view. But either way, really great performance. At times it did get slightly sloppy or whatever, but I mean, that always happens when it comes to these multi-men matches. Now, you're watching this, especially with Jack Perry coming out last out of all the contestants in this match. It made me feel like, okay, he's going to win. I feel like we knew that that was going to happen, that Takeshita would not win. I know a lot of people was hoping for Takeshita. Takeshita, like I said, being the MVP in the match, he ends up getting taken out like moments before the end of the match by Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe puts Takeshita in between a table and a ladder, pretty much like a sandwich, and Takeshita's in the middle. And then he ends up doing a dive onto the ladder, and then it crushes Takeshita onto the table under him. And then from there, minutes pass, maybe like another 2 minutes, Jackson Perry ends up taking the win. But one of the best moves of the night, though, was Takeshita giving ELP a Blue Thunder Bomb onto 2 tables. That table just shattered up so perfectly. It was just beautiful. Oh my gosh, so good. And like I said, I'm not opposed of Jackson Perry winning the title. It's the fact that he's already in the group with 3 motherfuckers that are not even defending their titles. Now it's going to feel like nothing but titles is being held hostage in that company, and nobody's is defending them. And I don't want it to be that way. And we'll see what happens. But damn, man, Takeshita was robbed tonight. I think if he would have won it, a lot of people would have been happy. Not just because we really, truly enjoyed Takeshita in the ring, but he deserves it. He fucking deserves it, especially after a performance like this. And man, I do feel so bad. I feel bad that he didn't take the win. After this, we do have the TBS title on the line. Well, the TBS title's on the line, and also the New Japan Strong Women's title's on the line. So title for title. Whoever wins, get the other's title. This was very apparent from the get-go what was going to happen here at Mercedes. While this match was great, had great energy, I do feel like Stephanie definitely looks better than Mercedes in this match. The crowd enjoyed her. And this is what I was saying. Like, if the crowd got a chance to truly see Stephanie this past month or so within AEW, they would have really seen what she's all about. And if you ask me, I think she upstaged her in this match. But CEO ended up taking the win here. So now she also has the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, the title that she wanted all along, but she ended up getting that I think it was an ankle injury last year, and then Willow ended up winning that title. So now it comes full circle for her, and she's gotten the title. I did get a chance to see her for like 2-3 minutes at the media scrum, and I was just like, she's her only fan at this point. I do enjoy Mercedes. However, they've done nothing with her, and it almost seems like as if it was just like, all right, Mercedes, we will sign you and immediately give you the TBS title, and we will also give you the New Japan title that you wanted to have. Anything else would you like, Mercedes? That's what it feels like. And honestly, I hate when it feels like that. However, after that happens, music hits, and it's Britt Baker DMD. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather have been Jamie Hayter. I'm just gonna put it that way. I don't know if people was actually excited about it, but all I kept seeing was it should have been Jamie. Should have been Jamie, and it's not. But we'll end up seeing what ends up happening. So it looks like DMD has just finally come back, and instead of going to the back of the motherfucking line, she is looking to get her hands on Mercedes, probably, maybe at All In. After this, we have the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the line. We have Jon Moxley versus Naito. When I say it was quiet as fuck during this match, did anybody fucking cheer? And then we have Red Shoes, who was the official in this match, and he, oh god, oh. Anyway, nobody was feeling it. And not even Jon Moxley, the one that everybody loves, Jon Moxley, could make this feel like something. And it is one of those things where I feel like this was a rematch between the two of them from the Wendy Riot City pay-per-view a few months back. A lot of people didn't watch this. A lot of people did not watch it. I did a watch along for that, and people were just watching to hear me talk about what's going on the show. And if you didn't watch that match, I will tell you, like, it wasn't that great. And I think what people really enjoyed more than anything was Jon Moxley finally winning that title. So it wasn't necessarily a great match. Naito having like knee problems and shit and barely able to move in that match. People didn't enjoy it. So now here we are months later. They're running it back. And to me, it could have gone either way. The crowd would not have cared. It's just the fact that they love Jon Moxley. I didn't care for this. It was just okay. Jon Moxley wasn't even bleeding. When I tell you Jon Moxley was swimming in his own blood the first match, this here was very lackluster in comparison to the first match, even though that one wasn't all that. And then the crowd just wasn't into it. I guess all the energy was taken from them from the Mercedes versus Stephanie before that. So I don't know, they just wasn't into it, and it just hit a roadblock at that time. By then, we had JR finally joining us on commentary, doing this double main event commentary thing. And it was great to hear from him since he's been pretty ill as of late. And Naito ends up winning, and nobody gave a flying fuck, which is crazy. I don't know what's going to happen here with Jon Moxley, but, you know, it's great to see him, but nobody cared at all. Now, let's talk about the main event. Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay for the AEW World Championship. The emotions in here, like, they really, all right, because things got really personal between the two of them. I don't think in real life, but, you know, on a camera, this played a huge role with how you felt about these two being in the ring. It was really interesting to see Swerve being introduced by Jim Jones, the rapper of all people. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. He comes out with Swerve title. Swerve comes out. He ends up giving Swerve his title. They make it down to the ring. Jim Jones is trying to swerve and drive, and it's probably not working out. This was an amazing match. And it's not just because of the performance in terms of the in-ring work, but the psychology really played out a lot here. You know, Swerve has been watching Will Ospreay. Ospreay been taking nothing but W since he walked through the motherfucking door. And Swerve knows that, you know, despite you seeing that confident look on him, he knows he's up against an amazing contender. We love Will Ospreay. We're just a little bit tired of him winning all the damn time. They've been shoving him down our throats for a while. But the performance was great. I am going to say this, though. It took so much from Swerve to take this win. I don't know, 50 house calls, Swerve stomps and everything. Swerve even stomped him, tried to stomp Will Ospreay through the announce table. And the announce table said, not today, not today. I ain't going nowhere. So it didn't crash or anything, but it was still effective because, you know, Will Ospreay's chest was caved the motherfucker in. And man, when I tell you, like, the emotions into it, like Swerve, okay, he didn't do 50 house calls, probably like 6 of them throughout this match. And the last 3 house calls was within like the last 2 minutes of the match. But I'm going to say this, Ospreay goes to go give Swerve a hidden blade. Swerve moves out the way and Ref get hit. Ref is out for the rest of the match. Then, I think he hit Swerve with a hidden blade. Maybe it was a hidden blade. And then he goes lay on Swerve. And you could literally count to like 10 for how long Ospreay was on Swerve. So then, just when you think, all right, another referee is going to come and do something. But no. First, Uncle Don comes out. He snatches up Will Ospreay, and he gives Will Ospreay a screwdriver. When he gives him the screwdriver, you know, he's telling him to hit Swerve with it. But then Prince Nana come and said, not today, bitches. Y'all not going to hit Swerve with no screwdriver. But then Will Ospreay snatches up Prince Nana, little old Prince Nana that doesn't even hurt anybody. And he is holding the screwdriver in front of Prince Nana's face, and everybody just looking at him like, what the fuck, bruv? What are you doing threatening Prince Nana of all people? So then, you know, I guess he comes to his senses and doesn't want to do it. And with all that being a distraction, this was, you know, Swerve pretty much coming back alive and ends up, you know, finishing the job. But before then, we do have Aubrey Edwards who come in the ring, and she officiates the rest of the match. After like 3 house call back to back, and you can see a big ass bruise on Will Ospreay's face where he got that house call. He ends up taking the win. And like I said, it took a lot of Swerve. It was not an easy match for Swerve, but I wasn't worried. I knew he was going to retain, even though it was really stressful to sit through because of the emotions. And that's what we love pro wrestling for. We want to feel all types of emotions running through us while we were watching these matches. And for a main event, it was so freaking good. So guys, the pay-per-view all in all, not better than last year's, but the main event was great. Stephanie versus Mercedes, great. Ladder match, great. Zack Sabre Jr., oh my God, take me home. Take me home. That was amazing. I would say Brian and Takagi was great too, even though I know it could have been better. Everything else is whatever. It's whatever. Everything else could have been on Dynamite and everything. And Tony Khan, before I go, just because you feel like you have to give us all these matches so we can feel like we got our $50 worth, this is not it. Because now you got people who's not happy with like half the fucking card because it just was not that great. These type of stuff, people don't want to see some of these matches on the pay-per-view. These stuff could have literally been on one of the weekly shows, Collision, Dynamite. It was not that great. And honestly, you know, whatever. The live stream makes it more fun to watch with you guys. So for you guys who pulled up and watched with me, I really do appreciate all the support. It really, really warms my dark heart. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back on Wednesday with Dynamite. Bye.